6 months later, I get diagnosed with MS. So I had like a double whammy, one right after another, back to back. And I'll tell you that, you know, here's a guy who, at the time my diagnosis came in, I was weighing about 230. I literally was working out, trying my best. I just done a full sprint for Muscle Fitness, thinking with the man, and, you know, I thought I was really on top of the world, and then all of a sudden, I get this diagnosis, and I'll never forget, I walked in the doctor's office. I was in Round, Utah to film an episode of Touched by an Angel. And those tears were not very difficult to conjure up. Like they really are never difficult to conjure up at any point in time now. Because the day that I got on the plane to go fly and shoot that episode, my legs set on fire. My shins set on fire. My sides caught on fire. And it wouldn't stop. And that's what set me in to see the doctor, and I would walk into this doctor. This guy didn't know me from Adam. Does a clinical observation, and he said, "You have MS." And then he looked me in the face and said, "I'm telling you, you have to stop your talk show. You have to stop all the stress. You have to stop all the working out. You know, you're going to have to stop. I almost succumbed and did what a large percentage of people who have MS do, and that's take my life. If I walk across the street here in Columbus Circle, there's cabs going around all the time in New York. If a cab hits me, nobody will think it just happened by mistake. And so, of course, I'm in Manhattan, New York, I'm walking across the street, Columbus Circle. I throw myself in front of a cab, and I get the only cab driver who's paying attention. And then, of course, he thinks, "I'm not down, you crazy? Oh, man, did you trip?" He picked me up and he helped me across the street. This guy who's helped me across the street talking in my ear about how much he loves my show and how many people really rely on me? When that hit me, it hit me like a brick. And I realized right then, that second, I don't give a damn what any doctor ever says. I have MS. Yes. MS will never have me. Not as knowledgeable as Dr. Perlmutter, but I'm going to tell you, I sat out on that second. That day, I went back. I can't use a computer. I got 3 assistants on the computer. I said, "I want you to find out everything about anything that has anything to do with MS. I want you to find me every doctor in the world that claims to be an expert," and I literally went to meet them all. I get treated at the Nobel Institute in Stockholm, Sweden. My lead doctor in my care for MS is Dr. Thomas Olsson. He was 3 years ago the signatory to the Nobel Peace Prize for neurology. Okay? I see doctors from Harvard. I see doctors from Johns Hopkins. I see doctors from UC San Francisco and after seeing all these doctors, not that I put any of them down, but dang, I was still dealing with the same issues I was dealing with. So what I decided to do is to start researching. And when Dr. Perlmutter talks about inflammation, folks, inflammation is the kryptonite for MS. It's the kryptonite for most neurological diseases. And I set about, not even knowing what the science was, I set about trying to find everything and anything that I could take that could reduce the inflammation in my body. Now, I have a very good friend of mine, for different reasons, for business reasons, said, "You know, you're looking at this company called Protandim. They have things called antioxidants." Antioxidants, really? Reduce the inflammation, let me take it. So 3 years before you heard anything about this, I started putting this in my mouth as looking at the very first study that came out talking about this product's benefit. And I said, "Okay, it's great now." I take about 38 pills a day, every day, baggy of them, okay? And sometimes for me, it's a little tough for me to get up in the morning to put those little baggies together, so I had a housekeeper who was helping me out. So she would put them together in 30 bags at a time, and I would see her for another 30 days. She would 30 bags at a time. I took Protandim for 2 years, 2.5 years. I literally, every day, not missing. And I take a lot of things. I'm on a 3-pronged approach. I take Western medication. I take a holistic program, and I have a whole hormonal replacement program. Because I feel very strongly that you need to have every single weapon in your quiver you can have to go to war. And Protandim was one of those weapons in my quiver. This was completely... This isn't a double-blind study. This isn't a clinical trial. I'm just going to tell you Montel. So, well, about 9 months ago, I just didn't start feeling right. Waking up in the morning, dang, my legs dragged a little bit more. Hurt a little bit more. 5 days go by. I'm trying to figure, maybe I'm not taking shots all the time. I'm going mad. Maybe I'm not working out hard enough. I'm going mad. I tried to do everything I could to figure out what it was that had changed in my life in the last month that was making me feel a little weird. Couldn't figure it out. So I finally go to the hospital. I said, let me look at my pills. I thought, no, and we'll talk about it and you can hear more information, along the way about other things that help breathe down, magnesium, vitamin D. I'm thinking maybe she just was forgetting to put the vitamin D in my bag. Something was wrong. Check the bags and I realized I hadn't ordered the Protandim for 3 months. Okay? And when I said ordered, I hadn't sent her down to GNC again for 3 months. The only pill that was missing out of my bag, she had stopped putting it in there for 20 days. Day 21, I started feeling different. I felt that way until day 30, until I finally figured out what it was I was missing. I went back on Protandim 8 months ago. That feeling went away in 3 days. So in spite of them doing this project, this is what I take every day. This is one of the arrows in my quiver that I use, and I believe it's because of all the research and science that Dr. Perlmutter has just presented to you that it makes me feel the way I do. And I would say that to anybody on the planet. I don't care what research facility it is. So if the only thing I changed in my life was Protandim for 45 days, and that clearly started making me feel worse, and the second I put it back in 8 days later, I started feeling like myself, this is a product that I'm going to be behind, and I want to try to make sure I get you behind to help you understand that you're embarking on an opportunity right now that I don't believe has been available in this world and our world, because you have a product right now. It's not just about making money, it's about making people feel better. It's about impacting what the national discussion has been in the last couple of weeks. And we all hear everybody talking about healthcare, right? You're hearing this on the news every day, talking about the bill they're trying to pass. But we're not really trying to pass a healthcare bill. We're trying to pass a sick care bill.